Hey, it's Big T. Today I want to put together a pattern called a sexy waltz. The waltz worm is a very popular pattern. Usually tied kind of in a drab manner, and that's extremely effective as well on wild fish. If you're trying to go after something that's spent a little less time in the water, which a lot of us do chase after, this pattern seems to attract them, and it's also really effective, I find, in water that's a little stained, either by rain or other means. Sometimes we get lake turnovers that create some discoloration in the waters in our lakes here. It's a 16 jig hook with a 3mm slotted tungsten bead in a hot pink. The other way I tie this is with a silver or black nickel bead. In that case, I'm going to use a hot pink, fluorescent pink thread to create a hot spot. This is Coq de Leon. It's a great tailing feather. What I'm going to do is just take off somewhere around 5 fibers from that particular feather, and I'm going to tie this tail in about 2/3. I like a little bit longer tail on this fly for some reason. That may be a little generous, so I'll just inch it up a bit. If you would like these feathers to splay, which they have naturally there, another technique, actually I didn't do a technique that time, is to come underneath that tail and pull, and oftentimes that'll splay your fibers out. I don't know that the fish notice, and in reality once it gets in currents they're most likely moving around anyway. We'll build a slight taper on the fly with my thread, but the bulk of the taper is going to be created really with the dubbing. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that. For a rib, I've chosen to use a midged size crystal flash and a pearl. And I'm going to tie that in at the very back of the fly. And then for dubbing, any sort of hare's ear coloration, actually just about any color dubbing will do. These can be tied in a brown, a black, lighter colors. This is a dubbing that I create, which is a mix of natural hair, fur, combined with some UV tan. Spirit River makes a dubbing called Nice as Shrimp, and a tan that I add in there, and I also blend in some squirrel. The combination, I find, gives this a real nice pop. It also dubs nicely on the thread, and enough spike to it to look buggy. And I'm just gonna dub that up. May have too much on there, in which case I do pull a little bit off. And that looks a little bit fatter than you would think you'd want, but when you get this ribbing in, it will skinny it up a little bit. And though you might not be able to see that ribbing right now clearly, it will, as you fish this fly, come through. I'm going to make several wraps. I like to create a hot spot with black, and yes, you can create what would be considered a hot spot with a black thread. It doesn't have to be a fluorescent pink, red, orange, which are the traditional colors. What it's really doing is it's just such a different contrast from the dubbing and the pink bead that it creates a good change of pace contrast that fish tend to pick up on. Little zap a gap followed by a few whip finish turns, and that fly's ready to fish. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's a great fly. It works just about anywhere, especially on heavily stocked streams. I appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big T Fly Fishing.